Hi. So I thought I'd just come on live. I've told nobody about this. So whoever watches it when I want to watch it. And cool. I am so cold. Oh gosh. I'm cold. So here's this blanket. I should probably shut that door too, but here we go. I'm wrapped up nice and warm now. I'm not warm. I'm gonna get warm. But anyway, not a Christian. Now that this should be on, it takes about 20 seconds to actually start before the feedback comes through. I hope it. I hope you can hear me actually, because usually I use my mic, but I've not put the mic in, and I'm not going to. It's over there. Should I put the mic in? Nah, man. It's too long. It's too long. So anyway, not a Christian, no, not an atheist. So what are ya? What do you believe in? I've had multiple questions on that on my YouTube, and someone asked again today. So I was like, yo, let me just do another video. I've done a video, but it was 2 years ago, and I have um an aeroplane. We're catching flights in April. We're going somewhere. But I thought I'd just do another video really to just say what it is I'm into now, because I've grown, I've developed, I've expanded, and for me, both of them are just boxes that I choose to not put myself in. Basically, like, to share my background, I shared a video online and I was just like, I'm done with religion. I'm done with it. And then many people just took that and assumed I was an atheist, but I actually never was an atheist. So, like, never. Never. I don't care about trying to get people to show me evidence. I don't care about trying to say, prove your God to me. I really don't give a fuck. Goodbye. I'm live on YouTube. I'm not ready to talk to no one. I'm legit. I feel so off today, people. So I'm just gonna ramble on anyway. I just need someone to talk to. So I'm talking to myself via live on YouTube. So whoever joins. I really don't care at this bloody point. But anyway, um, oh shit. What was I saying? See, my memory at times not good. I'm gonna give up the bud, people. I'm gonna give up the bud. Like, I had some bud last night. I've got like one more spliff, and I'm just not feeling it. So I'm just gonna go with how I truly feel. I may just stick to the brown, the rasta weed, and stay away from the bud. And then my papa will be happy about that. He's gonna be happy. But I'm gonna stay away from the bud, and when I'm ready, just all of it in general, but when I'm ready, I think I'm just gonna stick to the brown, the rasta weed. So anyway, gosh, what was I saying? Oh, I just want to warm up, and the big old heater's there, and I'm just looking at it, and I wish I could just turn it on from here. I'm just lazy. I get to lazy points where I just don't want to move. I just feel off. I feel like I've got like a an overwhelming amount of work to do, and it's just like, what's the time? Do I bust it all in before the children come back? But then I'm also tired and I want to rest, but I need to get work done. So it's like that's where I'm at now. And sometimes I'm just like, oh. But as I've said in like my astrology readings and energy updates that I do weekly, people, I do it weekly. The energy is gonna move from, it's gonna start, is it Monday? Is it a quarter moon when the energy shifts? I got a whole calendar, people. Yeah, Monday, tomorrow. The momentum in energy will shift. So damn, even if it's just like when the children are asleep, I'm just doing work around it then. But I just don't have the mental capacity right now. I've recorded a video and I'm like, oh, I need to put it in a laptop and edit it, because Pluto is, hear me. You see what I'm saying? This is why I go to what is actually more important. But Pluto and Saturn's recently transited in it, so it's gonna bring about a lot of change. It's transited into Aquarius according to the natural sky, not the other mainstream astrology, because that's bullshit. But it's not bullshit. It just feeds the world stage. That's what mainstream astrology does. It feeds the world stage, and in essence, it can give you a heads up of what is to come. So don't throw it out. Just pay attention to what it's saying. But anyway, back to religion. Religion. The religion. Yeah, fuck. I'm not interested. I'm just not interested. So I'm not interested as a Christian. Like, oh, what does the Bible say in this way? Da da da. The Bible, all it is interpreting. It's just astrology. That's literally all the Bible is. So I don't see the need or necessity or the reason to get caught up in um I don't see the reason to get caught up in it anymore. Like I done a video last year. No, yeah, like I was saying, yeah, I'm done with religion and that. Like I'm fully done. But I'm done. There's just no need. There's no need for me to be caught up in it anymore. There's no need because all it does, the Bible just is talking about astrology. That's it. Astrology is the science of fractalized light. That's it. Like, and of course, religion, like, don't get me wrong, I don't like the religion when people are just like, oh my days, I'm trying to do this, and they get so discouraged because they're trying to, and they feel like God hates them. Like I had a comment recently saying that they feel like God hates them, and you believe whatever you want to believe, but feeling emotionally depleted from it, that's what saddens me about the religion. But I recognize there's people who need it to fuel them, so that's where I'm just like, I really don't care about anyone. um I don't care about saying, give me evidence your God is real. I really don't give a flying fuck. I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't give a fuck about it being like real in the Christian community. I don't see why I should listen to it at all. I just don't, because as I said, it's talking about astrology. And I don't see why I need to be out there trying to get people to give me evidence. I don't care. I just pay attention to reality, and I recognize that all of these are just stories anyway. So even if it's not in the Bible, there's stories, like every single story that is happening right now, it's within the whole 88 star constellations that like spins around our head, over our head, like like a sphere, keeps just going around. And that's it. That's all it is. So I just don't see the need. I don't see the need in and someone's coming in and out, in and out. I don't know who you are. I'm just talking about my feelings. I'm not in the mood today. There's no structure to this at all. I'm just ranting in essence. But what I supposedly believe in, though, like, I don't like the term believe. I done a whole video on it where I spoke more about it, but I don't like the term believe because that's just accepting something as true without any evidence, or to say it's just like, oh yeah, that's just it. Like, that's just it. I don't just, believe nothing. Believe nothing, question everything. See what I'm saying? Believe nothing, question everything. But yeah, I don't care. About religion, I don't give a fuck. About atheism, I don't give a fuck. Don't give a flying fuck about neither of them. I just look at the sky. That's literally all I do, because I found when you get caught up in all the details and you're there trying to, like when I was there trying to argue and debate everyone underneath my YouTube the video that where I was just like, I'm done. The Lord's a monster. The Lord is a monster and I'm done. Like, excuse me, I just found the energy depleting. I found it so energy depleting, and I just can't be bothered. It is what it is. There's stories, and you either follow the story or you don't. You listen to the story or you don't. It's exactly the same as if someone chooses to watch a Marvel movie or any movie at that matter. You either watch it or you don't. That's it. You can get the same information from a Marvel movie that you can get from the Bible. Imagine it's just entertainment now. And like I've said before, like imagine all of these movies, what if they're just entertainment and someone at some point in reality comes along and says, Oi, yo, nah, this really happened and you've got to listen to it. You've got to follow what they say and blah, blah, blah. Nah, fam. Nah, it's just a story. So what I do, I ignore all the details. I ignore all the noise. When I say the details, I look deeper. I look even deeper at the details, but I ignore all the noise. I ignore all the static and I pay attention to the common denominator. So we go back to maths now. It's like, okay, what is the common denominator? What's the common denominator between all of the stories? It's the exact same thing, whether I'm talking about Hare Krishna, Jesus, Jesus, um, bloody Apollo, Odin's son, Thor, Loki, or all of them. What is the common denominator? So that's why I'm not caught up in give me your evidence or you need to believe in Jesus. I really don't give a fuck. I don't care. What's the common denominator? See what I'm saying? What is the common theme between all of the stories that syncs together that will help benefit you in your reality? So, from my perspective, it's like at the end of the day, I've recognized all of these stories come from the sky regardless. There's 88 star constellations. There's no coincidence that it's number 88. That is the energetic toroidal field. Okay, there's two of them, which make 8 and 8 makes 18, and then that folds back into number 9. Our realm is mathematical based, so I pay attention to the numbers and everything. So I pay attention. It's like, okay, instead of me trying to persuade people, you need to subscribe to Jesus and let him save your life, or subscribe to give me evidence that Jesus exists. Both are just energy depleting at this point. It's really energy depleting. What's the common story and the common theme? And how can you take that theme and that common story, apply it to your life that will help benefit and elevate not only you, but your family? You see what I'm saying? Because the whole story between Jesus and Satan, Saturn and Jupiter in the sky, Jupiter's the second to brightest star in the sky, Saturn's the dullest, and they oftentimes they're squaring each other because they've got beef. It's just the story, it's the mythology, it's the myth story. So, how can I apply that to my life? I found out that those stars, them people, it links to crypto. Oh, it links to crypto. So you're telling me crypto is based off that mythology story as well. Okay, then let me look into it deeper. Now I can see when crypto is going to move. I can see when the stocks are going to move, all from looking at the sky and taking into account the Jesus story, the Satan story, the biblical story, the story of the sky, and the rest of them. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I believe in now. I see our realm is mathematical based, it's based off numbers. These numbers produce the matter that the matter oscillates, and light becomes entrapped within that matter, and it creates multiple oscillating energy grids. So it's all these stars essentially that create, emit frequencies. It emits the frequency that you reside in. So which story are you telling yourself? You see what I'm saying? I'm at a point now, I'm just like, we need to be benefit ourselves or benefit one another. And I don't see going around saying, oh, you need to accept the Lord as your savior. Like one motherfucker legit said, she will not sell me her raw vegan cakes until I repent and ask Jesus for forgiveness. Well, fuck her. Fuck you. I don't want your fucking raw vegan cakes. I ain't asking Jesus for no forgiveness. I don't need the cake in my life. You know what I'm saying? And people are just feisty like that. They're feisty. And what's happened to her business now? Is she doing the cakes? No. No, she's not. Because you can't go on like that. You can't go on. You're telling me you're not going to sell no cakes to nobody who doesn't repent and ask the Lord for forgiveness. Fuck the Lord. Fuck him. Respectfully. Now, bear in mind the Lord as well. The Lord, the character in the biblical story, that is not the definition of what we as humans, as people, for decades, centuries, has been trying to find. What's God or who's God? Like, that's not the Lord. It's kind of clear within the Bible. Um, the Lord is the frequency that comes with the Lord. It emits a different frequency. I've said it in one of my other videos. It's the frequency that is contracted. Contracted doesn't mean bad neither. So we're moving away from that duality consciousness, that duality perspective of it's either this or it's either that. It's not Christian or atheist. It's just not. I do not believe in there is one God sat up there and it's or he, the Lord, has created this and he sat there looking down on people like, oh. So when people are out there, so you don't believe in God then? So if you're not an atheist, so if you don't believe in that character, I automatically become an atheist. No, fuck off with that shit too. Just fuck off. When I say I'm not in a mood today, I'm just like, oh, I hate limited boxes because it's more than black and white. It's not just either or either. You see what I'm saying? It's not just either or either. The Lord in the story, there's many mythology stories about that character, the Lord. It's Kronos, it's the father time. It's the one telling his story now. Okay, so if you want to look deeper into it, the Lord is the one who's telling his story now. Okay, he's telling his story, the Lord. And within his story, we have been contracted during this period, but his story is ending. It's ending. But within that contraction, that energetic contraction, I don't know if you've seen, you've got like, it says, that frequency bandwidth thing, if people seen it online, you've got like love, joy, blah 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 at the top, then you've got like anger, hate, blah 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 at the bottom. Now, that's not also to say that the bottom is bad. We need to come out of good and bad. It's not bad. It's far from it, to be fair. And the top isn't just good. It's not like, oh, you're high vibed if you're on the frequency of love or blah blah blah, and you're low vibe if you're on the frequency of anger. No, motherfucker, I'm angry now. I'm angry, I'm annoyed. You see what I'm saying? But all that is, though it may be a contracted energy, a contracted frequency bandwidth that I'm operating in, that contraction at the bottom allows expansion. You see what I'm saying? It allows energy to get moving in a way for you to start seeing things in a different way, for you to reach the breakthroughs, to be like, oh man, I am fed up of my situation, or this anger's coming to me, or oh, what is it telling you? Every single thing in our reality is data based. Is data based. So Christianity is another form of data. Oh, my battery's soon I go. When it goes, it's going. Oh, hey. So yeah, I'm seeing, thanks for joining. I'm seeing everything as energy based essentially, and I'm not either or. I see within Christianity there's story. Listen to the story. What's the story telling you? Within um atheism, it's just like, what's that telling you too? Is what's it telling you? Everything is data, and ultimately take the data and apply it to your individual life, because the people out there saying, oh, once you've tried to persuade someone to go to Jesus, or you're doing your best to persuade them, how is that benefiting your life? Especially if it's people who don't want to be persuaded, and we're flipping the script. How is it benefiting your life when people who are happy with their Lord and Savior, and you're doing your uttermost best to persuade them out of it? No, stop. Like, things don't run. So I I work well with my mom. Yeah, we live together, we work well together, and she's a Seventh-day Adventist, hardcore Seventh-day Adventist, and that's what I used to be. I'm not anymore because I just don't see it that way. However, do you want to know the ground we find mutual resonance in? The natural sky. We're out there, we're like, she wasn't interested before. I was interested first, and obviously I'm in more to like astrology, blah 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 blah. Um, but like that is the ground, literally nature. That's the ground we've connected on. You see what I'm saying? Because it's like, oh, it's natural. My mom, she's out there. I got calendar people, astrology. But anyway, my mom, she's out there. She's like, oh, the Lord has, and God has made a beautiful world. I don't view it from the perspective of the Lord creating this world, but I can see nature and I'm just like, wow, this is a beautiful world. And we're both out there. We're like, that's the sky, mommy. I'm like, oh, that's Venus. I was like, that's Venus, and that's Pisces, and that's Jupiter. And she's like, wow. You see, and we're both Christian. My mom don't turn around and say to me, oh, you need to come to church. She don't do all of that because she knows my stance. So she don't. We work very well. But also she prays with my children, and also my children, they're in Pathfinders. I found out last week, but they're in Pathfinders because their dad, he is religious. You see what I'm saying? And he takes them to church not every week when he has them. They go to church often. So like, but am I mad? Some people, like someone commented, like I was like, oh, I find it adorable when I hear my children praying. So I don't pray with them like that because it's just not me. But when they're with my mom, she prays with them, and I'm like, oh, um, some people would be like, why are you allowing your children to obviously hear that stuff if you're not for it in that way? But hear this. This is why I just ignore the details and pay attention to the cycle and nature and the cyclical nature of our reality. I don't, the details, you can get caught up in the details, and that's where your emotions get drained. That's where conflict happens. Imagine if I was all up out there saying to my baby father, I don't want them going to church because I think the Lord is a monster, blah, 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 blah. And I'm causing like a lot of conflict. Instead, I paid attention to the cyclical nature of reality. I linked that into my family, and I recognize generation after generation, you spiral up and outwards, meaning that if you are becoming fractalized in essence, you're becoming fractalized. Once your parent has birthed you into this realm, you are a fragment and a fractal of what they were. Meaning, if I went through my religious stuff, my ex-husband went through his religious stuff, and he's still religious, but he's coming at it from a not so strict or over extreme way. Both of us were so extreme before. We were like, yes. Both of us were extreme to a point we wanted to kill ourselves, so it wasn't okay. But like he's in it now in a much more sound way where he is comfortable and confident in himself, and I am happy for him. And I recognize that because we spiral out, it is our natural cyclical nature. My children will experience some of religion. They're going to. So who am I? And I see that children, we pick our parents to gain whatever experience in reality. So who am I to turn around and cause conflict and be like, nah, you're not taking my children, fam, to church? This is unnecessary conflict. It's part of their coding. Even when I go and I look into their chart, their sky chart, because I use the visible sky when I'm looking at astrology. I don't just look at a circle drawing that mainstream astrology does, because that's it's off. It's off by a few degrees. I pay attention to nature, what's happening up there. But I've looked into their charts, and they have that in their coding. So who am I to cause that conflict and that disruption to be like, oh, nah, you can't do that? It's unnecessary. They're gonna experience it in their life, and my aim, they're also experiencing my angle of it too. And that's just life. That's just life. I'm not gonna be all up in here saying you can't tell that to our children, because they're not just my pitney. They're not just my pitney, it's our pitney. You see what I'm saying? Both of us brought them in. And I'm not gonna be out there saying, oh, you need to prove that the Lord and Jesus exist before you tell this to the children, blah, blah, blah. Because don't get me wrong, I'm also in my mind of just like, if it was fully just me, I feel children just need to be children. They don't need to pay attention to nothing. That even falls within the LGB community. They don't need to know none and nothing. Children just need to be children, and they just need to play. You see what I'm saying? Um, and I would say even religion too, but obviously I have to recognize my own coding, my own natural cycle within my family, etc., etc. That's why you just need to pay attention to your own thing and not look too much on people. Don't look on people. Stop looking on people and just like, oh, just because they said that I need to do this. Nah, know your own cycles, know your own patterns, know your own nature. And that way, things will run more smoothly. If I was so caught up in you need to prove your evidence, blah blah blah, before just the whole atheism, I'm gonna say nonsense. In my head, everything's nonsense that causes division. So if I was too caught up on that, the amount of stress and unwanted feelings, emotions that would come up, even if I was out there saying, don't do this, to my mom. Like, nah, man, they're gonna hear stuff. They're gonna hear stuff when we're in the car. There was given a gift, like a Christian song gift from church. They hear that whenever they're in the car. Like, because I don't have my own car just yet. It's pending. Tesla pending, okay? It's en route, my Tesla. So I'm waiting on my vehicle. So, like, oh, things are just different, but yeah, I'm just kind of rambling on. I feel that I don't believe in, say, either or. Belief is just accepting something anyway, where there's no evidence, and you're just like, oh, okay. So someone's saying, oh, I'm gonna be here at 1 p.m. and they've told you nothing of no sort. They've not told you, they've left out. That is you believing that. You've got no proof of nothing that they're there. Whereas if they've sent you like a Uber picture and it's saying, yeah, yeah, it's gonna arrive at 1 p.m., that's no longer belief then. It's kind of like they could come a bit later, but it's more along the lines of, oh, okay, that is the case. They should be arriving at that time because you can see it. So that in essence is like belief and not believing. So I just go off what is. I just go off what is, and I see our reality as mathematical based. I see as is electromagnetic, um, and light. Maths, electric, and light is our reality, and that's how I see reality. Like, that's how I see it, and seeing it from this point of view, I see the necessity, I see the importance of Christianity, I see the importance also of atheism, and I can say I have no part in both of them. You see what I'm saying? I even see, how far do you want to go? Depending on your point of view, do you just see the Lord as like the Lord, or do you see him as his other labels and his other characteristics? Do you see it as Chronos? Do you see it as Father Time? These are other perspectives, and in essence, I see the whole thing as a story. Our whole reality now is one big story. Like, it's one big story. So what's the story? What is the story? What do we see on our movies all the time? It's good, it's bad. There's a good guy, there's a bad guy. That is the story and the theme in our reality. Pay attention to what happens in everything, and that is essentially the story, good and bad. How does that practically impact society? How does it impact society? Then you've got all of the conspiracy theories that pop up, good and bad. Again, that's another bracket people fall into and then they stay there. Um, but it's just offering another story. So all of these really, it's just stories. It's just stories. I don't believe. Like, so what do you believe in now? I don't like the term believe. I see our reality as mathematics and light and electromagnetism. I see that astrology is the science of fractalized light. It fractalizes off. Look at your family's charts. Even if you're using mainstream astrology, you're gonna see the fractalization within mainstream astrology. But if you use the sky, you're going to get a more accurate fractalization. But it's fractalized light. That's all it is. And within this fractalized light, light becomes fractalized. You become birthed, you have a children, it just fractalized and fractalized and fractalized. People will have aspects of basically what was, even if it turns out being like the opposite. So the parents born a child and then the other and then the child is working within their light fractal, they're working on the opposite spectrum of what their parent was, because it's like a spiral. We're in like a symbiotic relationship within our whole reality. You see what I'm saying? It's like a whole symbiotic relationship out here, and everything supports one another. So atheism, Christianity, Islam, religion, um is part of the story. Excuse me, it's just part of the story. So um yeah, so just what's your story? What's the story of the stars? And gosh, yeah, and I see, this is what I see too within this fractal of light. Now everything in our reality breaks down into the periodic table. For anything to exist, it breaks down into the periodic table. That's all everything is. So you see these millions and trillions of oscillating energy grids that's oscillating, which oscillates so fast it gives the appearance that something is physical because of the oscillation, but it's not physical. Our reality isn't physical. That's why you got the what's that actor? My battery's low, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna talk until the battery dies. Okay. But the character Kitty, Kitty from X-Men. She's my favorite character, one of my favorite. And Shadow Cat, and she can run through walls. And there's many like superheroes like that anyway. But the reason is she basically restructures and slows down or speeds up her oscillating energy grids. Basically, she slows her atoms down. She slows it down or speeds it up so it can go through another object. It just goes through it. So that's basically like the science of how Kitty travels through solid objects. But our reality isn't physical. It's it just oscillates. It literally big oscillating thing. And because everything breaks down into the elements, that's all everything is. So within every oscillating energy grid is a chemical element, which breaks down to the periodic table of elements. Now L is the gods. So within all the mythology story, you got Michael with the L at the end. You've got Ezekiel. You've got it's all the gods. So L, if you see L in something within the esoteric realm of our reality, it's referring to gods. So when you go down to the periodic table now of elements, they are the gods. The elements are the chemical components, is in essence, that create our reality. They'll combine, they'll explode. There's different gases, the different L's, which um emit frequencies, and these frequencies reside within oscillating energy grids and blah blah blah, pop puff, here we are. So um it's like the stars, I see the stars as emitting the frequencies basically. Even the stars break down, that pass over our head, break down into the chemical elements, the periodic table of elements, because that's all everything is. So yeah, that's what I see. Sometimes I forget my point. I was rambling on, but yeah, Kitty, that's how I see reality anyway. I don't see it from the perspective of, oh, as I says, my mom will be like, oh, the Lord and God, the world is beautiful. I see the beautiful world and nature because I thrive in nature. I love it. And I can't turn around and say, just because I don't believe and say it's like the Lord who's made this, don't say I'm not going to enjoy it. No, because it's beautiful. You see what I'm saying? But um yeah. But yes, the L's, the elements, like I just see however you view reality, it needs to support you. It needs to support you. So if you need to view these stories as and you need the Lord as your savior, then jump hip hip hooray, make the Lord your savior. You see what I'm saying? If that doesn't support your reality, like that doesn't personally support mine, I'm not going to be jumping and raving and up and down saying, "Oh yeah, um I'm gonna just it just doesn't support my reality. It really doesn't. But like I said, my reality is supported and strengthened from viewing the sky. From viewing the sky. Sorry, I hold my breath. I hold my breath because it's just comfortable. Everyone does it. So I view my reality from the sky, and that supports me because I've decoded myself, and I'm like, okay, I see. I'm into crypto, everything of that nature. So I just pay attention to my coding. And I'm also not going to be like, just because people are out there like, oh, where's your evidence for this? It doesn't give a flying fuck. It doesn't matter. It's a story. Everything is a story. So you even use Wikipedia. What is the story that our reality is saying is right now? Okay, that's a story. How can I implement it and make it you? How can I give it utility? Basically, how can I give it utility that will help benefit my life? Okay, and that's all that matters. So my point of view is not going to be the same as anyone else's. Everyone's point of view is actually different, even if it's just a fragment off. Every single person's point of view is different, and it needs to be different because, as I said, light has come in and it's just fractalized. Have you watched Ant-Man? If not, I'm give mm, no, yeah, Ant-Man anyway. Basically, it's not just said it in Ant-Man, it said it in other movies, so I don't want to like ruin it for you. But all the possibilities existing at once. Imagine every single possibility. So right now I'm here and every single possibility could pop up of like, what could Kalita do right now? Could I say, look, people, I'm wearing hood rich? That was one fragment of me. Could I be like, you know what, I'm too cold. I'm going to go turn on this gas heater. That's another fragment of me. And basically, there's so many possibilities in essence. So this is us, okay? This is every single person, every single people that mind is existing through right now. We are those possibilities existing all at once. And I've legit done like a video on this. I've recorded last year, but see me and my long self, I've just not done it any because in my head I'm like, oh, what are people gonna think? Because my point of view is different. When I say my point of view is different, I do not see good, I do not see bad, I do not see right, I do not see wrong, I do not see you must go this way and this way only. No, I see science, light fractalized. As I said, I legit just see that light is fractalized, and Yeah, I've got a different point of view. I've legit got a different point of view. I don't appreciate it though, obviously when it comes to religion, when those who want to be in it are just so discouraged, and it's just like, whatever you're in and whatever path you're choosing to go down, just make sure it supports you. That's all I can say. You don't need to be trying to get people on board. Just do you. Like, oh gosh, I got mad the other day. And I didn't get mad, but someone tried to say that, you know, where it says in the Bible, um, about the church. It's like, oh, where two or three are gathered in my name, that's where he is, basically. And someone who I'm not the best fan of tried to say, oh, um, like my dad was like, yeah, this is church. Like, this is church. And then this person was just like, nah, I would strongly, that's strongly debatable, blah, blah, blah. And basically, my dad just told him to shut up because he's talking nonsense. So, um, it was kind of rude still, because in my head I'm like, nah, you're feisty and you're coming with this limited boxed perception. You've come in with this limited box perception. I was like, if me and my mother was not on the same like accord in essence. Now bear in mind, she is fully religious, I am not, but we sing pretty much the same tune. Our universes are synced, because that's what I see when you are with someone, and it, like, you can't hear the vibrations, but if you could hear the vibrations, you would be with someone and you would hear it sounding beautifully. This manifests through obviously how you feel, your thoughts, feelings when you're with that person, etc., etc. And in my head, I'm like, nah, you motherfucker, you're coming all up in our house trying to say we're not of one accord, bruh. My mom's got her own business, and it's called As God Intended, and she's talking about the 8 laws of health. That's sunshine, that's water, that's food, etc., etc. Check it out, people. As God Intended, Google it. And I am helping my mother, and I am pushing that to kingdoms come. I don't care. I am so proud of my mom. She's started a business, and that's all that matters. And I was just like, if me and my mom were not on the same page, if we were not on the same page, do you think I would be helping her? I even said it to mom. I was like, do you think I'd be helping you if we didn't have the same universe, if we were not in sync? Because that's the thing, it's a limited perspective. Oh, my battery's on 5%, so will end soon. But it's a very limited perspective to just be like, just because you are not religious and sat in there, you can't, it's not of one accord in essence. That's limited. It's powerful when people who have different perspectives can synchronize together and both expand each other. Like, to me, that is the ultimate. That is love. That is love. It's not love when you're out there saying, you must do what I am doing because my way is the right way. And just because I've studied this and blah, blah, blah. That's why when cocky people come off and they're just religious, it's frustrating. It's really frustrating. But yeah. So the battery will die soon. I'm gonna just let it die. So I kind of don't want to talk. I kind of don't want to talk when it's like fully into it, but yeah. So that's just a little bit of my rant anyway. I don't see right or wrong. I don't see right or wrong like that. Religion, I just see light as fractalized energy. That doesn't mean just because I'm just like, oh, I don't believe that that character exists and he's up there and you can pray to him and blah, 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 doesn't mean that I'm an atheist. Fuck atheism. I'm not an atheist just because I don't see that that character is like that. Nah, I see maths. I recognize source. I recognize in order for um existence to be, there was a source. People, from looking at it from a different perspective, see that and label that as God, the Lord. If they need to, they need to. That's their reality. They need to support their reality and feed it in a way that supports them and them only. Me, because I see it from numbers, I've looked at it from a vibrational frequency perspective. Okay, what is source? What is the word that defines source? Love. They always say God is love. Okay, let's look at love. What is it? Love is acceptance of all in all its states as it is. Love in the number sequence of our mathematical reality is zero. This is God, people. Zero. Zero is love. It's the zero, it's the circuit. There's nothing broken there. It is everything and all and nothing at the same time. This is God. This is source. This is love. It's through the zero that one is birthed. Through the zero that one is birthed. One creates the structure and support for our reality to exist. Two creates the duality, that mirror, that the and the positive and negative flow. So in here for the new year. Oh, hey! It's nice to see you because you've been about for a while. My battery is low, people, so I just says I'm gonna talk until my battery's done. Okay, but yeah, so it's like I see our reality as mathematical base, and I see it from a perspective of okay, for the past decade, for the past century, this is what people have been trying to say or call or explain what God is in the mathematical nature of our reality. It's zero. It's zero. And when you look at it as a number, because you see numbers can never lie, words create all this deception and confusion that we're in, but a number cannot lie, you see. So it's through the zero. Zero is love. Love is what people have called God. God is love. Love is God. Whatever your point of view. And that's because zero is yeah, thank you. That's because zero is neutral, okay? And it being neutral and acceptance of all allows anything to exist. So when people are like, oh, but if the Lord is real or God's real, why is so much wickedness happening? That's because God's not a character just sat there saying, oh, this is good, I'm gonna no. It's a whole data. It's how can I put it? It's advanced technology that's beyond our comprehension right now, basically, because it's numbers and light becomes entrapped within the number, which then creates the physical reality. The numbers in that time, pure beeping coming through. I've now turned one of my other alternate possibilities of me has turned the heater on because I was cold. But you commented them. I want to just finish them. But I'm them. Behave. Oh, what's going on? Why is it going on like this? Behave. Oh, what's going on? Why is it going on like this? Behave. Oh, what's going on? Why is it going on like this? Oh, what's going on? Why is it going on like this? It's just